Welcome to Attenuation, a weekly podcast where two friends come together to drink beer, discuss beer styles and trends, and just generally ruminate on the meaning of life, aka beer. If you enjoy your time with us, we invite you to become a weekly listener and subscribe to the podcast. Without further ado, here is this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome to episode 78 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Stephen.
Hello.
How's it going today, sir?
It's going so good because it's my Friday, it's podcast night, and I'm going to drink a good beer.
Nice, that's a
and
good...
we have so many things to talk about.
Yeah, today is going to be a Russian River mini deep dive, and then 20 other segments.
It's going to be so fun.
Well, I guess we can get right into it, because I know this is the part you're looking forward to, but first we do drinking beer. So I introduce a beer, give my nose notes, Steven does the same, and then we cheers and do tasting notes.
What you got?
Okay, actually, I'm going to tell a quick story. So last week we discovered that there should be Bell's Two-Hearted Ale in a grocery store that is close to my house. So I went to that grocery store, and I looked at every single beer in their beer section, and it was not to be found. So I was very disappointed. And it's kind of late, and I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go bother somebody because it's going to be annoying. It's going to be like, do you have a beer with the fish on the can? So I just assumed it was gone. There wasn't I looked at the empty spots and read the names.
Yeah.
But none of them said Bell's, but.
It wasn't an end cap or something.
No, I looked there
a new place.
Yeah.
Like a welcome to California kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of ran down the aisles and looked, because I had seen, sometimes they put beer in a couple other spots, but no
Nothing,
dice.
huh? Oh, okay.
But I did see, and I think we talked about this earlier, they had a bunch of Great Ocean beers.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't know if these have always been available to me. I don't think so. I feel like this is a little bit new.
Well, I feel like a while back they opened I don't know. I don't think it's a tap room, but they opened distribution center in Sacramento, and you can actually go there. You can order stuff and go pick it up there.
That's right. That's what we talked about.
They probably are, in general, distributing more to your area.
Yeah, so I was super excited. So I kind of scanned what they had available. They had 4 or 5 different beers, and they had this one, which is Blueberry Muffin.
That's a great beer.
You've had this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's so cool. I had a feeling you had this one. It's a tart ale, and it says it's a tart ale with blueberry and other natural flavor. I'm excited. And this is 6% ABV. Whoa, it's pouring. It has a ton of head. It's like a dark reddish brown, pretty opaque. The head is super thick.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
It smells like it smells like blueberries in a number of ways. One of them is good, and one of them is probably not good, but it's good to me. So it smells like fresh blueberry, but then it also smells like, you know how when you go to IHOP and they have all the different colored syrups?
Uh-huh. It
smells a lot like their blueberry syrup at IHOP. It's making me crave IHOP so much.
Need some pancakes, huh?
My wife does not like IHOP.
The International House of Pancakes?
But she humors me, and we go from time to time. But I have the dietary cravings of a 5-year-old, so I love it.
Yeah. I don't know why I do this, but every time I get whatever their special crazy pancakes are at the time, which are usually banana, cream, cheese, Nutella pancakes or something, and it's just this just absolute sugar bomb, yes. Crazy, but that's how can you not? And then you put syrup on top.
I actually always get the same thing. I avoid I don't even know the names anymore, but I think it started as one of the special ones, and then it migrated onto the permanent menu. But I get birthday cake pancakes.
Oh my gosh. Funfetti pancakes?
Exactly. It's funfetti, and it has the white frosting on it.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
So yeah, this smells like blueberries, kind of like fresh blueberries, but then also blueberry syrup. And then a little bit of that, you can smell that sour, lactosey smell. That's about it. Blueberries, and more blueberries with a hint of sour.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. I bet this is going to be so good.
All right, well, I have a sour too. Mine is from Sun Lab in Miami, Florida. So I was reading the can. It's kind of interesting. It says brewed and canned by Westbrook Brewing Company in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina for Sun Lab Brewing company in Miami, Florida.
Oh, crazy.
So, not quite sure how that happened. But anyway, this is called Feeling the Flow from Sunlab Brewing. American Sour Ale with pomegranate, tangerine, and plum. And it's 5.7% alcohol. I was mostly just so excited to see Sunlab beers.
So this is something you got local? It's not something you got off like Tower?
It was local, yeah.
Nice.
Just the grocery store. I need to make a beer shop run tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do on my day off. Okay, so...
Oh, look at that. Like the same color.
Right? A nice big head. This one has kind of like an apricot orange color to it with a nice thick carpet of head. Like nice, like a bunch of small tight little bubbles. Like almost a meringue looking head on it. Oh wow. It smells really good. It's a very strong smelling beer. The tangerine. Did I say tangerine? Yeah, that's what's coming off of it mostly is this like orangey tangerine citrus smell.
That's cool.
Definitely getting a little bit of the plum too. A little bit of like wine grape, like white wine smell too. Okay, this is gonna be awesome.
All right, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Okay, this is exactly what it says it is.
You got a real complex beer this week.
I feel like I'm drinking a blueberry muffin. You taste blueberry, and then it's a little bit tart. I wish it was more sour, to be honest. And then you get this like bready muffin flavor that literally tastes like blueberry muffin. Literally. Yeah. And then the finish is residual blueberry. I get a little vanilla. And a little bit of like the sourness kind of creeps back in.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's a thumbs up, but it's super high rated on Beer Advocate. But I don't know if it's that good. It's the 8th highest ranked fruited kettle sour on beer.
Really? What's the score?
It has a 97.
Wow.
On...
Dang, that's crazy.
Let's see. 215 ratings and 55 reviews.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely share your sentiment that it's not sour. I didn't find it like sour at all.
It's good though. I understand why people like this.
But yeah, as a pastry sour, it's pretty legit.
I think if it was actually quite sour, it is the style is tart ale. So tart. It's doing exactly what it says it's doing, but I just wish it was more sour. But it's not even marketed as a sour. It's marketed as a tart ale. So I think in that way it succeeds. This would be like a perfect beer to give somebody as like a gateway to sour beer. Because it has a little bit of sour, so if you weren't used to it, you might be like, ooh,
Right.
For us sour heads, we're like, come on. Bring the noise, bring the sour. So, but yeah, thumbs up. It's good.
Yeah.
It's definitely what it says it is.
Well, the thing for me too, like, how do you feel about blueberry in your beer?
I guess not great.
Yeah, I'm not a huge blueberry beer fan.
Yeah.
In general, so I think that's why. I mean, like I said, I wasn't unimpressed with the beer. I liked that beer when I drank it, but it's definitely not something I would like pick first. Okay, only because I'm just not a huge blueberry fan.
I guess that's exactly how I feel about it. It's really good, but I would never pick it again.
Yeah. I mean, the execution of the blueberry muffin, I think, is just absolutely spot on.
It's almost incredible how much it tastes like a blueberry muffin. It doesn't seem like it should be possible.
Yeah.
But I just don't really want to drink blueberry muffin.
Maybe drink it at breakfast time with your funfetti pancakes.
Yeah, there we go. All right, well, how's your sour treating you over there, Steven?
It's really good. So, again, I was excited to see Sunlab anyway in the grocery store. This one was a really interesting flavor combination. Pomegranate, tangerine, and plum aren't really the fruits you see a lot, but I really like the combination. The citrus bite of the tangerine is probably the strongest. It has a very strong citrus rind flavor that's balancing the sourness. This one is sort of the same way. It's like more tart, a little bit of sour, and then kind of balanced with that citrus rind. There's a really long pomegranate juice finish. Then that's kind of where the pomegranate comes in at the end, and it just lingers, and it's really, really nice. It's pretty sweet too, but
that sounds good. I like pomegranate.
Yeah, it's legit. I feel like too that when you go up to drink it, the citrus bite is in the nose too. Like, this is a very strong orange tangerine citrus nose, and then it just kind of like flows into the flavor, kind of overwhelms senses with that citrus. But then again, just finishing out with the pomegranate juice finish is nice. It's really good.
So that's a thumbs up for you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna get all the Sunlab beers I see.
You can get more Sunlab beers.
I think so. Yeah.
Nice.
Looks like
That's
they're
really
going to
cool.
distribute here. So
That's exciting. All right, very good. So that was our drinking beer segment. And next we have postscripts, where we fix things from previous episodes, beer news, and story time with Steve.
so many things.
We have a lot of updates for this section.
So postscript first.
Yes.
So I wanted to do a little addendum to the last week. We talked a lot about our plan to the beer festival because the brewery and beer list had come out. Well, there actually was one more addition to the beer list because they're going to have the 3 different quote-unquote tap rooms, one of which is Collaboration Nation.
Okay.
So there's each session of the festival, they're going to have different beers pouring in this section, and they're all going to be either collaborations from 2 breweries or a collaboration between, like a pro-am collaboration, so a collaboration between a brewery and an amateur home brewer.
Oh, I love that.
Which is funny because now it's like, was that home brewer, like, did they go to that brewery and flag down the brewmaster and try their beer?
Yeah, how did they link up?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So anyway, I thought that just made me giggle because I was like, oh, maybe that's the cream rising to the top there. People who actually had good beers.
Yeah, maybe they got they're like winners of like local competitions or something.
Yeah, probably. So there's pro-am collaborations and brewery collaborations. Nothing like really stuck out to me other than I think during the Saturday session that we're at, there's going to be a Humble Sea Brewing and Sierra Nevada Brewing collaboration.
Oh,
it's called Humble Fest, and it's a lager. I think I looked it up. So that just might be interesting to try.
Yeah.
Again, nothing that really stood out there other than that. And then the other tap room is called Heavy Metal. So this is all previous winners of either the Great American Beer Festival or the World Beer Cup. So that's going to be a cool little spot to check out. Some of the things that stick out to me, Mini Separation Anxiety is a beer from Berryessa Brewing.
Oh, crazy.
Close to you. They won an award. Breakside's Passion Fruit Sour is a very, very good beer. Crooked Stave's Stay the Funk In is also another really good beer. I mean, all these are good, but the other one that really stood out to me was Fremont. It's going to have their Brew 4000. So they do I believe it's a barley wine. Every 1,000th beer that they brew barley wine. So this was Brew 4000. They have a 5,000 and a 6,000.
Okay, so this is one of the older ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's been aging.
Yeah, and I believe the 6,000, I think we can, at some point, we should be able to get 5,000 and 6,000 during this beer festival. So we could try 3 different Fremont
I'm down.
barley wines, yeah. And then they also, in the same section, will have their bourbon barrel aged Dark Star stout.
I definitely want to drink that.
Yeah. The other one that I want to try for sure is Colshan Brewing's Goza. They're in Washington. That beer has won countless times. Either gold, silver. It's like almost always in the top 3 Gozas at the beer festival. So
okay,
you need to try that one for sure. It's a must hit. And I think that was it for like really standing out for me. Oh, there's another one called Bam Bam Loves Pebbles.
Okay.
This is a Fruity Pebble inspired fruit wheat beer. So, I'm all on that.
There's too many Fruity Pebbles beers.
I'm all over that.
Yeah, you're going to love that.
And then the last tap room is called Wish We Were Here. This is a bunch of breweries that wanted to attend but couldn't, but they sent their beer to be poured at
cool.
this tap room. This is a number 1 for us. Alaskan Smoked Porter from Alaskan
It's going to be there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you might be excited about that one.
I'm excited about that. Well, we talked about that on a previous episode, and I really want to try it.
Yeah. I think, what did we talk about that with the... Oh, because we said it tastes like salmon to people at first when they drink it.
Because we were talking about the other smoke beer. Yeah. And your brain parses that flavor as meat. So the one we tried is that one from Europe. A lot of people say that one tastes like bacon.
Yeah, Schlenkerla. I think. Yeah.
Which I've had that experience. And then they say this one tastes like salmon. So I want to try that.
Because I think it's because they use cedar plank to roast their malts.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people, that's like a popular wood to roast salmon on. So people just... Your brain associates it with salmon, yeah. So
apparently, if you drink it enough times, it stops associating with that. I'll have to just try it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Tell me when it stops tasting like salmon to you. So, anyway, that's the one that like really stood out to me on that. But yeah, it should be cool. Those little tap rooms added to the list. Oh, one more. River North Brewery. They're in Denver. They are going to have their Nightmare Fuel Stout. That's another one you and I don't... Yeah, look that one up. Jamie, pull that one up.
Nightmare Fuel from River North Brewing is a 13.5% American stout with a 93.
93?
They use 3 pounds per barrel of locally roasted dark coffee beans.
Yummy.
I actually love that name. I like saying Nightmare Fuel is something I say all the time.
Well, there you go.
Right.
So anyway, that's your additions to our beer festival plan. Need to incorporate those in.
I'll add them to the spreadsheet.
Definitely the Bam Bam loves Pebbles. Make sure you get that on the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
All right. And then beer news.
Yes, beer news.
I have a couple funny beer news stories. So, of course, football games and beer commercials pretty much go hand in hand, especially Super Bowl ads. A lot of the best Super Bowl ads are beer ads. Well, it's kind of interesting because Amazon started this year, they're broadcasting Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, streaming it. Well, because I'm not sure exactly why, but per Amazon's sponsor guidelines, they actually cannot have any alcohol content featured. They can't have wine, beer, or spirit brands advertising during Amazon's programming. Yeah.
Really? Huh.
There can be alcohol content featured in like a non-alcohol ad, so like a movie trailer with actors drinking alcohol or something. But per their prohibited content policy, ad content must not encourage, glamorize, or depict excessive consumption of alcohol. So kind of strange to not have beer commercials during
beer ads during
yeah, it's very strange. But what's interesting though too is they do reserve some ad slots for NFL programming, and that could possibly include beer brands because Anheuser-Busch InBev is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. So technically, Anheuser-Busch InBev or their conglomerate brands like could enjoy some screen time in those slots. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. No beer ads on Amazon Prime.
That is funny because mostly I associate beer ads and car ads.
Right? Yeah. Okay, another funny story. This is out of Florida. Fortunately, it's not a Florida man story. But there was a crash of multiple semi-trucks and vehicles on a Florida highway. Luckily, no one was injured badly, but all lanes were closed because one of the semis that was involved in the crash was carrying a truckload of Coors beer, and it completely spilled out. And the pictures are insane, but it is just like a freeway, multiple lanes full of boxes of Coors beer and cans of beer spilled out across the highway.
Oh, I'm looking at a picture of it now. Oh my goodness.
Completely rendering it undrinkable, even for Americans.
It was undrinkable when it was on the truck.
Yeah, so this is like a sad story, but more funny than anything, because it'd be really sad if it was like a bunch of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yeah, but this is easily replaced. The picture is quite striking, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of beer.
It's a lot of beer. I'm glad no one was hurt. It's just the way that truck was hit. It's like it got peeled open almost.
Yeah.
So all the boxes just poured right on out. It's insane.
Yeah, so I'm sure the crew grabbed a couple cold ones while they were cleaning it up.
Well, you might as well.
Alright, that's my Florida news story. Okay, what is that it? Is that our beer news?
I believe that is our beer news. Yeah, I told my story of not being able to find Two Hearted or return. I'm sure they'll get it eventually. I wonder if they listed them on the website because they're shipping the beer to them or something like that.
Maybe they sold out fast.
It's possible they did.
Too many people there with the finger on the pulse of craft beer.
I guess that would simultaneously surprise me and not surprise me. It's hard to say.
I know, it is kind of weird, right?
But that was like the first week I think they had it available. So unless you really knew, like, I feel like most people, unless you're really into craft beer, it would just kind of blend in on the shelf. Maybe people just bought it all up.
Yeah. What's funny is that at Nugget, they used to get Pliny the Elder occasionally. It was hard to get, but it would come into the Nugget every once in a while. And most of it wasn't even getting to the shelf because employees, as soon as it came in, they were just saving it for themselves. It's not an issue now because they get so much, but I don't know. Maybe that happened. Maybe it came in and...
Actually, maybe that did happen. I feel like eventually if they just keep distributing here, the novelty will slowly die and it'll hit the shelves. But I knew that was a phenomenon. I knew somebody that worked at one of the local grocery stores and they would claim them for themselves.
Get something good in, yeah. I don't know. The beer shop might be less likely to do that.
First right of refusal. The employees. They're like, no, we're just buying that. Yeah.
Are you drinking a different beer now?
I did switch.
What are you drinking?
This is supposed to be behind the scenes, Steven.
No, I want to hear about it. This is a beer podcast.
So, update on Blueberry Muffin from Great Ocean.
The thumb is turning down.
When I said I really don't like drinking blueberry muffins, I wasn't kidding. So I made an executive decision to switch beers. I am now drinking Arrogant Bastard Ale,
which is a repeat. Although the other one you drank was super old or of an undetermined age.
It was an undetermined age that was at least 2 to 3 years, and. It's funny now because I don't know if they changed the bottle or if I didn't notice this last time, but it says drink fresh numbskull. I like how it's like kind of in character of the beer.
It like insults you.
It insults you. But this one was packaged on 7/22. So it's exactly 60 days old. Well, 2 months old, so it's quite fresh. I really like this beer. It's funny because we talked about it last time, but it's like one of the first quote unquote craft beers I ever tasted.
Yeah.
And I still really like it, maybe for different reasons, but it's kind of cool. Like you can just get it, like everything. Bottles are like no more.
Yeah, it's all cans now.
This used to come in a bottle. That's what I remember it as, but it comes in this tall can. It's kind of funny though. It's 19.2 ounces.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a strange size. It deviates slightly from because I think, most of these cans are 16. So it's like you get 3.2 more ounces. So kind of funny.
But good?
Yeah, it's good.
Anything, do you think it tastes better than the one you drank that was old? Yeah.
The hops are like way more present on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
anything that has hops added is gonna like just turn into a malt bomb after that many years. So.
Yes, I think it kind of turns into like a barley wine.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is how it's supposed to taste. It has like the full, it still has, it's still very malty.
Yeah.
But then it has that like huge wave of hops and hop bitterness. So it's a solid beer. I really like it.
Nice. All right. Jason's drinking Arrogant Bastard now. Okay. Well, get into our main topic, which...
we have a story time with Steven.
Oh, that's right.
How could you forget?
I don't know.
This is a very novel experience.
It's not like it's tattooed on my body.
It's not like it's forever.
Yeah, I got my tattoo this last Friday, so it's been almost a week.
I'm excited you went through with it. I think you were a little unsure.
I walked into the tattoo shop and I told the girl, like, yeah, I want to get a tattoo today. And she looked at me and she was like, are you sure? You look a little... I was like, I don't think I'm unsure. I think I'm just unsure of the whole process, but... And I'm unsure of like how much it was gonna hurt. But it's one of those things. When I was a kid, there'd be maybe like a fair ride or a roller coaster or something that I was scared to get on. Mm-hmm. And then I would see some kid that was my age or younger than me just get off of it. And I was thinking, well, I'm not gonna die.
If that person can do it, I can.
Yeah. So like I know so many people with tattoos, right? Especially now, they're so common.
Very common.
I was like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine. So my tattoo artist was awesome. His name was Vin. He was really cool. He was cool about taking my input on the design and showed him a couple different pictures online of stuff of tattoos that were similar. Mm-hmm. And then it was funny. He was telling me when I first said that I wanted like a tattoo of beer ingredients, he thought he was going to be tattooing like a recipe card.
Oh, interesting.
It was funny. I was like, no. He's like, well, people ask me for some strange things, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, so it's such a simple tattoo, and like I knew it wasn't going to take very long, and it was pretty funny when he got me sat down and all positioned and everything. He's like, He's like, okay, get really comfortable because it's going to be about 4 hours.
No.
And I chuckled. I was like, I don't know a lot about tattoos. This is my first one, but I know it's not going to be 4 hours. No, it only took about 10 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes, and hurt so bad.
Really?
Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, at one point, I think my wife she asked me, is it better or worse than you expected? And I was like, it's definitely worse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's intense.
So I remember.
You're trying you can't move. He's drawing permanent lines on you. So don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, I'm a tattoo virgin, but my wife got a few tattoos.
Yeah. She
basically said, yeah, it hurts so bad, but it's too late. Like, once they start, you just have to be like, well, I guess I have to see this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't want a half-done tattoo. So.
I wish I hadn't got on this ride, but
now I'm on it.
Get off, yeah.
Might as well try to enjoy it. Yeah, it was on my underside of my forearm, and towards the inside of the arm is really where it hurts the most. That kind of sense, you can tell it's more sensitive.
Yeah.
And then as you get kind of out, it wasn't as bad, but yeah. And then like longer curved lines, those are intense. Even he was like, yeah, sorry about that one. That was a long curved line. So yeah.
That's really cool though.
So I can't imagine sitting for like multiple hours for one of those like big tattoos, but people do it.
Yep. So if people wanted to see your tattoo, is it posted on the gram?
It is.
At attenuation.podcast?
Posted it. I posted a reel even.
Good job feeding us the algorithm.
Doing my best.
All right, very cool. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to see it in a couple weeks in person. That looks cool from the pictures. But
yeah, the only problem now is that the hair needs to grow back to match the rest of the hair on my arm.
Oh, okay, because they had to shave that area, yeah.
He was like a very hairy guy with tattoos all on his arms, and
yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm glad you have hair on your arms with your tattoos, because I thought maybe today was the day I would have to start shaving my arms.
What did he say?
He's like, oh, no, you're fine. You can grow hair over your tattoo. It's good. It's cool.
That's really funny. Now, has there ever been a tattoo artist at a tattoo place that's not covered in tattoos?
I don't know. Probably not. I doubt it, but yeah.
They probably exist, but I swear every time you go to a tattoo place, the people that do the tattoos are like covered.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
Well, they're like probably sitting around bored, don't have anybody to do.
Give each other tattoos.
Practice on me?
Yeah, give me this, give me that. Yeah, that's funny.
So right. I need to verify this story, but apparently there's a story about getting a Subway tattoo, like Subway, the sandwich shop.
Okay. So
they had this competition where if you got the best Subway tattoo, you would get free subs for life.
That's a big yikes.
People did that.
Yeah, people will tattoo insane things. Is there a winner? Well,
the winner is a loser. The dude has got it on his back. A huge one on his back. It says Subway Series 2022. It's like his whole upper back.
Oh, yep, I see a picture of it.
Wow.
For free Subway sandwiches.
I'm sorry.
Subway.
I can't. Sorry.
I like Subway, okay?
Yeah. Whew. That is a different level. I guess maybe if you put it somewhere, no one will ever see it, but I don't think that was the point. Subway wanted it to be somewhere they could see, yeah.
They want you to advertise.
They're going to give you free subs for life, man.
So does he just walk into his local Subway and then...
He must have like a card or something.
They must know him. Do you remember when we worked at Roundtable? And the individual who owned our Roundtable owned 20-something Roundtable. And his daughter lived in town. She could just roll in anytime she wanted to get anything she wanted.
It's funny because I almost told this story too. Yeah, I thought of the exact same story in the moment you thought of it.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Well, that's the first thing I think of. And she didn't even come that often. If I could get free Roundtable pizza, I would go every day.
He's there every day.
They'd be like, what's up, Jason? I'm like, hey.
That's awesome. Well, what's worse was that, like, we're like these stupid teenage boys, and we'd like ring it up and be like, okay, your total is free, and you're trying to be funny, and then she's like, like, yeah, I know.
This is not the first time I've heard this joke.
Let me just ring that up. Oh, your total is...
Your total is no. Double finger guns.
Oh,
She's like, hurry up, peasant.
yeah.
Your commentary is not required. No, she was nice.
Yeah, that's great though. I would be there every day.
Oh, absolutely.
Twice a day.
I'd be like, this is how it's gonna work. At 5 o'clock, you have 12 twists rolling out of the oven every day. I'm gonna roll by on the way home from work and grab them.
I want them hot and fresh. Oh my gosh,
but that would be nice. I would maybe like tip them or something. But yeah, she did not take advantage of it enough. So I hope this Subway guy goes to Subway every day.
Yeah, I hope so too. Couple times a day.
Just lives on the Subway. Oh, that is so funny. Okay, now we can finally get to our main topic, Steven.
Okay, we did it. We're journeyed through all the segments.
To the main topic.
Thanks for sticking with us, everybody.
They're all gone.
Well, I was excited to do this sort of little deep dive. It's not really as deep as some of the other ones we've done, really, just because they don't have, it's in the history of the world. It's a pretty new brewery.
400-year-old tradition, yeah.
Right. They have not had a fire that I know. And they didn't have to make it through Prohibition either. So,
we'll give them a couple hundred years. I'm sure they'll meet all the 5 pillars of the deep dive, yeah.
Yeah. No, what they'll probably have to manage is they do a lot of bottle conditioning of their stuff, but the CO2 shortage, they've gotten through the pandemic. That will be the new thing. Did you survive the pandemic?
That's true, because a lot of breweries did not.
But, Russian River Brewing, Santa Rosa, California, started by Vinnie and Natalie Cilurzo. I think that's how you say the last name. They both have a long history in the wine business. Vinnie comes from a family of winemakers. Natalie was involved in the winemaking business since about age 16. Vinnie had, as a teenager, tried home brewing. He got some equipment and was making beer at home. And so he got pretty good at making beer, and his dream was to open a brewery. So in 1994 in Temecula, California, Vinnie and Natalie opened a brewery called Blind Pig Brewing. That lasted for about 2 years. Vinnie's brewing style was a little bit ahead of his time. At this point he was making, Blind Pig IPA in a time when IPAs weren't even really a thing that people were drinking.
People weren't even drinking pale ales.
Yeah, people were kind of barely drinking Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and so he was a little ahead of his time. That brewery was not super successful, so they closed in 1996. But in 1997, Corbel Champagne Cellars in Gurneyville, California, which is right on the Russian River, they decided to open a beer brewery. So they were in the Champagne game. I think many people will recognize the Corbel name in Champagne. They decided to branch out into beer, and they hired Vinnie literally as the sole employee of this brewery. They gave him the reins of brewing beer for them. They gave him a few acres of hop fields so he could grow hops, and he started brewing beers. And like I said, they gave him a lot of creative license. So he again started brewing these heavily hopped beers. It was also at this time he really started experimenting with Brettanomyces yeast and aging those beers in wine barrels, since wine barrels were basically all around him. He had complete and full access to wine barrels whenever he wanted. And he started to perfect those styles. And in 2004, so they were operating at this time under Russian River Brewing, technically owned by Corbel at the time. Mm-hmm. But in 2004, Corbel decided to shut that down, and they fired Vinnie. But in his sort of negotiations for a severance package, he negotiated the acquisition of all the names, the Russian River Brewing name, and all the names of the beers and recipes and all that stuff. So he left Corbel with all that information and names and access. So he gathered all his friends and family and anybody he could convince to invest.
Called in all the favors.
Yeah, I think it was 2 family members and then 28 other private investors.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so a total of 30 investors, and they bought a place in downtown Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa at the time, it was just growing. It was really the biggest city in that area, and they just thought it was the perfect spot to start a brewery. Mm-hmm. They got that location downtown Santa Rosa, built their brewery, and in 2004 they opened Russian River Brewing in Santa Rosa. Yeah, and I guess at that point the styles were catching on, the hoppier styles. That was kind of sort of the start of the hop wars, right? Mm-hmm. Now craft beer is in sort of full swing, and Pliny the Elder really took off. That was their flagship beer. You know, I was reading a story about how they named that beer. They were interviewing Natalie, and they were asking her if she remembered the first time she ever drank Pliny the Elder. Okay. She was like, no, I don't remember, but I remember how we named it. So they're sitting there drinking this unnamed beer, and they were just talking about hops, and somebody went down sort of the rabbit hole of the history of hops and looking at strains of hops and how they were cataloged, and they realized that there were this Pliny the Elder and his nephew Pliny the Younger that were the first ones to catalog hop strains.
Nice, so they got wiki lost.
Yeah.
Do you know that phenomenon?
Yep.
It's like
definitely.
You read a Wikipedia article, and then 2 hours later...
Yeah, you hit a link, and then you hit another link, and
you're like, oh my gosh, where am I?
So they named their beer after Pliny the Elder, and then later brewed a triple IPA version, which they called Pliny the Younger. And it was funny in this interview, she also noted that they would love to, this is the hypothetical question, if you could drink a beer with someone who was dead or something, or a historical figure. Oh, and cool. She said, we would love to drink beer with Pliny the Elder and Pliny the Younger and just let them taste these beers and see if they like them. One. And also, yeah, I'm sure they would probably.
They probably would because
And then also like what they would think of, the Pliny the Younger release and all these people lined up to drink beer. And the interviewer asked her, well, do you think Pliny the Elder would be jealous of this, this big Pliny the Younger release with all these people lined up to drink it? And she was like, no, Pliny the Elder would get to drink every day. He wouldn't be jealous at all. I thought that was a cute little interview. But yeah, so one of their goals from the very start was to buy out all these investors.
I love it.
Regain full
control.
Regain full control of the brewery, which is just a great idea. So they did that. They were able to make enough money and buy everybody out. Now they're the sole owners. And then at that point, so by 2014, they were the sole owners of the brewery, and they started planning an expansion. They wanted a second location. Mainly, so if you ever go to the Santa Rosa location, that was my first experience with Russian River with Jason, actually. We
went together, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell the story of that day. So that was a pretty awesome day because I took Jason to the California coast to drive supercars up and down Highway 1. It was like a late birthday present or something.
That was so cool.
Yeah. So, it was like a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Porsche. Yeah, and then like that random Camaro thing they had.
He had like a random like Camaro Super Sport. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
So one of his other cars was like out of commission or whatever. But that car was cool too.
Yeah, it was. It was cool.
It wasn't quite as cool as the rest of them.
Yeah, but that was super fun. Jason is a very safe driver even when he's driving a Ferrari. Got his hands on 10 and 2 on the steering wheel.
I took only one calculated risk. He had a long straightaway, and it was downhill, so you could see like a mile in every direction.
You just let it go.
And luckily, I was in the Ferrari.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then we decided to go to Russian River. And it's really funny because I'm thinking back at that moment, like, this is a very strange time for me in my craft beer journey because I don't know if I'd even gotten my first Tabler box by then. No, probably not.
I don't think so.
No. I was I was actually probably more of a cider drinker at that time.
Do you remember? This is the first. You should have known when we went on our beer trip to Seattle that I was gonna order the flight.
Oh yeah, the flight. Right.
When we went to Russian River after driving the cars, I told Steven we got to get the flight. Like it's one of everything basically. And he's like,
yeah, that Russian River flight is pretty legit, actually. You basically get everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I knew that you would enjoy this, going to this brewery. I vaguely knew the importance and how famous Pliny the Elder was, but that was about it. And I just remember going there. It was busy, and luckily, like, just the fact that I think that it helped that we were just two people. There was
a big line.
Yeah, we got a small table pretty quickly. And I just remember, and I guess that was sort of my segue, was that, like, they were bursting at the seams down there.
Mm-hmm.
So busy. And I know, like, especially applying to the younger release, when they did them down there, the line would just stretch down, and the only way you could find parking was basically paid parking in a garage. And then a lot of the other businesses kind of hated the applying to the younger release and hated the line. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to complain about when you're a business, like, people in and around, but I guess if they're not interested in your business at all.
In your business, yeah.
It's just an annoyance. It's just a deterrent for other people to come down there to actually want to go to their business. So yeah, I just was, like, very, 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 very busy. But yeah, that was the first time drinking their beers. And of course, I thought they were all terrible, especially Pliny the Elder.
You didn't like it.
1 star. Don't like it.
Now you love it. But you didn't like any of them until the end of the flight.
End of the flight was the sours. These Brettanomyces yeast fermented barrel-aged sours.
Wine barrel-aged.
And I remember drinking them thinking, I just didn't realize beer could taste that way. You know, and again, I'm coming from kind of a wine drinking, cider drinking
you really
phase of my...
You really like ciders at the time.
Yeah, and to drink this thing that was... And I don't think those are gateway sour. You know, those aren't really, like, entryway sours.
I don't think so.
They're very funky. Definitely have that nice sort of barnyard funk to them a little bit. But man, I just fell in love with those sours. Vinny has a way of brewing some beers that just are awesome and could kind of bridge the gap between drinking other stuff like ciders, wines, beer, cheaper beer or not as good beer, and making you fall in love with craft beer styles. So
yeah, it's funny. I actually had an extremely similar experience going to Russian River years before that.
Really?
Where I liked everything else. Like I liked beer at the time. I thought I was really excited to try Pliny. But I wasn't really super aware of their sours, and it was the same thing. It's like the last 4 beers in the flight were like consecration, supplication. I know they're all the Asians.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I tried one of those. Like, it just immediately clicked. And this is all I want to drink. I remember I immediately, because we kind of were sharing a flight, then we were going to order, like, whatever was the favorite. And I immediately just ordered, like, the full big consecration. Like, yeah, this is my jam now. So it is funny, you had the exact same experience as me. Just, like, the second you tasted it, just, like, clicked. Like, oh, yeah, this is what I want to drink.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, to segue back, they kind of needed the space, and they were only getting more popular. And that downtown location is not. I mean, there's some space in there, but it's not that big.
No, it's just really, really packed in there. And so for Pliny the Younger, they were brewing about I think it was like 140 hectoliters, I think they call it, of Pliny the Younger.
Okay.
Well, they they found a spot in 2014 in Windsor, which is just up the road from Santa Rosa. It's a nice big space, and they basically just wanted to build their dream brewery. So they got their architects and construction crews and brew experts. They got all their experts together and planned out this perfect brewery, with 2 completely separated, hermetically separated sides. One side for the sour, one side for the everything else.
Yeah, they don't want that.
They don't want that Brett yeast escaping.
They contaminate their main brewery.
So they can control their wild yeast. They built, of course, the little abbey church at the end with the cool ship in it, which is so cool. They have a guided tour and a self-guided tour. They have a little tap room with growler fills. They have, obviously, the main restaurant, bar area, a gift shop. It's a really, really cool facility. And they were able to expand all their brewing, including Pliny the Younger. So now, on the Pliny the Younger release, they brew closer to like 420 hectoliters. So they went from 140 or something like that to 420, 2-3 times as much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's just awesome. It makes it so more people can enjoy their beer, and that was the whole point. And it really was able. And the nice thing is, it was so close. It was close enough to the Santa Rosa Brewery that it pulls pressure off of it. You know, it was close enough to take a lot of pressure off that Santa Rosa location, which is just small. I mean, it's very cozy.
I like it. I like that. There's a lot more space at the Windsor location. Yeah.
And the pizza is very good at the Santa Rosa location too. But yeah, that Windsor location, especially for the Pliny the Younger release, I don't know. Some people are diehards about going to the Santa Rosa location. I'm not.
No way.
I like more space.
There's way more space and way more bathrooms. So you can, yeah.
Yeah, everything's nice. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that Windsor location opened in 2018, been going ever since. And one of the things too, and we've talked about how, especially during the pandemic, how a lot of breweries had already stretched themselves a little bit too thin financially, trying to build more facilities or build more tap rooms. And it's always been Vinnie and Natalie's goal to expand, but very, very slowly and at a reasonable pace, and not to stretch themselves financially where they would ever get in a position where they would lose the brewery because they were trying to expand too quickly. So
smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. Calculated.
So a lot of their distribution is still only in California, I think, California, Oregon, Washington, and then Pennsylvania, oddly enough. They have about 500 restaurant accounts they supply beer to.
Kegs and stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they have won, sort of Russian River by the numbers here, over 40 Great American Beer Festival awards over the year. Brewery of the Year a couple times. Vinnie has won many awards, multiple Brewer of the Year awards, Lifetime Achievement Award for wine and spirits and beer, and yeah, just innovative beer innovation awards, that kind of stuff. So very heavily awarded brewery, very famous. I was reading an article. It asked a bunch of different brewmasters from breweries all around the country if you could go to any brewery in the country, where would you go to drink? And I swear, like 80% of them, their first answer was Russian River. So
did they really? Wow.
Yeah, it's very important to modern craft beer, and it's important to brewers now. And, you know, people who are very, very good at brewing beer, they recognize the talents and innovations and of Vinnie. Yeah. And, I mean, it's cool, too, that he sort of stuck to the guns of making those beers that he wanted to make and then made them popular. I mean, he's credited as basically creating the double IPA style or the Imperial IPA style.
Yeah, I love that approach of I'm going to make what I want to drink and you can drink it too. I'm selling it, but I'm making it for me. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's really awesome.
Yeah. It was nice to be able to get to talk to him a little bit, chat with him last Pliny the Younger release. He's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
He's like literally the chillest, most down to earth person.
That's awesome.
Kind of what you want in both a brewer and a business owner, because I think I think we've talked about this too, where
definitely.
I think they run their business in a really good way and take care of their employees and stuff. So
again, smart.
A lot of employee retention.
It's really cool.
So that's Russian River Brewing.
Making me want to go.
I know. How are you not there every weekend?
It's a little far, just because
it's like an hour and a half.
What I need is a friend that doesn't drink that take me.
That's not me.
That's my problem. Is I can go, but I can only drink a few. You know, and we used to have a friend that didn't drink. She would take us, but that's a little far.
Yeah. Yeah. You need a sober friend.
I know. If we go, my wife's going to drink more beer than me. She loves beer, and she especially loves sour beer.
That's true. Yeah, she's
a sour head.
You're lucky you got the sour beer loving.
No, I am not lucky.
That's true. The sours in my fridge are safe.
Yeah, I have to share everything.
Oh, wait, safe.
She's always like, "What are you opening? None of your business." Just kidding. I share.
Hey, is today the first day of fall? I think it is, right? Yeah, break out the pumpkin beers.
No, I don't like pumpkin beers.
You know, I drank a pumpkin sour.
Oh, you're right. It is the first day of fall, September 22nd. Astronomical fall begins at 9:04 p.m. Eastern Time.
There you go.
You drank a pumpkin beer already?
Yeah, pumpkin sour.
Oh, was it good?
It was interesting. It's from Prairie Artisan Ales.
Oh, I like Prairie Artisan Ales.
Yeah, it's like it was a sour brewed with pumpkin and toasted marshmallow. So it's kind of interesting. It gave this like sort of cheesecake. The sourness gave it sort of a cheesecake flavor. So it's sort of a pumpkin cheesecake. Yeah, it's actually really good.
Nice.
It was the first pumpkin sour I've ever had.
Yeah, I've never heard of a pumpkin sour before.
I've got like 5 different pumpkin beers in my fridge right now, so.
I bet you do. Stupid brewery makes a pumpkin beer.
They really do all do one now.
It's so annoying.
But I'm out to find the best one.
Alright, you find the best one, then I'll try that one.
Right. Well, we're drinking Pumpkinator at the beer fest anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to have to wade through all the bad pumpkin beers just to find the gems. You find the gems and bring them.
Yeah, I'll do it for you.
So.
Definitely.
Alright, cool. Is that an episode?
That's it.
Alright, well, if you want to see Steven's tattoo, there's pictures of it on attenuation.podcast on Instagram. If you want to send us pictures of your tattoos, we're at contact.attenuation@gmail.com.
Yeah, show us your beer nerd tattoos.
Your Subway tattoos.
Yeah, or your Subway tattoo, if that's what you got.
How much does it stink if you're the person that got a Subway tattoo, but you got like second place?
Yeah, you didn't win the thing. Yeah.
You have a Subway tattoo now, but you don't get free subs.
Yeah.
That's brutal. That's probably worse than getting second.
Yeah. Now you're not. You're a loser and a loser.
Oh, you said it, not me. Alright, so this has been episode 78 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
That's me.
We're saying cheers, and we'll see you next week for episode 79.
Alright, cheers, buddy.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Attenuation, a beer podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more fun content. Catch you next week. Cheers!